The stars move in perfect, indifferent circles. They do not root.
Mistress, you must flee! Orestes cannot protect you anymore.
Flee to where which has become a cage of blood. Look at the sorceress!
Shall we need spells run that pagan?
Is Yogania spells pagan? You bring me to a house of worship to commit a slaughter. You may break for the divine, you can't spill the light within. To think is to be free. You can no one read that some side the tribe your fod. The night falls on Alexandria, and the ink turns to blood.
You are Hypatia. The year is 415, and from the window of your study in Alexandria, you can hear the world ending. It is not the grand cosmic collapse you have charted in the stars, but the guttural roar of men whose faith has turned to fever. The sound is a beast, a single throat made of 1,000 mouths, chanting a distortion of your name. It rises from the colonnaded streets, thick with the stench of dust and fury, and claws at the limestone walls of your sanctuary.
Before we witness the final hours of this ancient world, consider subscribing. The truths we uncover next were buried for a reason, and you won't want to miss their discovery. You run a hand over a scroll of Ptolemy's Almagest, its papyrus so fragile it feels like dried skin. Around you, the accumulated thought of centuries lies vulnerable.
This is not a library. It is the compressed memory of a civilization, a forest of paper and ink holding the geometry of Euclid, the mechanics of Archimedes, the logic of Aristotle. It is everything the men outside have been taught to fear. Their patriarch, Cyril, has named this knowledge heresy. He has named you sorceress. Your mind, a place of perfect orbits and logical proofs, cannot compute the geometry of this hatred.
You remember your father, Theon, his hands guiding yours across a celestial map, his voice a low hum explaining the elegant dance of planets, a time when numbers were a sanctuary, not a reason for a death sentence. That world feels as distant as the constellations you once mapped. Where did the logic go? When did questions become a crime? A sharp crack from the street below. A thrown stone shatters a clay water jug on the balcony, the sound like a bone snapping. You do not flinch.
Your fear is a cold, dense thing, a collapsed star in your chest. It is not for your body, but for the irreplaceable world shelved around you. If a single idea is lost, it is lost forever, a star extinguished from the human mind. You can almost feel the heat of their breath, the collective pulse of their rage vibrating through the floor stones. They are the Parabolani, Cyril's fist, monks who carry clubs instead of crosses and see the devil in every diagram that does not depict their god.
They have been told you read the future in the sky, that your instruments are tools of witchcraft, that your philosophy unspools the certainties their new world is so desperately woven from. The truth is far more dangerous. You simply teach others how to think. A frantic scratching comes at the heavy cedar door to your private rooms. Not the thunderous pounding of the mob, but something small, desperate.
Mistress Hypatia. It is the voice of one of your younger students, a boy named Synesius, his voice cracking with terror. Orestes sent word. They have broken through the outer gates. You must... His voice is cut off by a sickening thud, followed by a splintering crash from the corridor beyond. The scratching stops. Silence. A silence more terrifying than the roaring that preceded it. The beast has breached the walls.
You look at your hands,
stained with the faint blue of ink from your morning's work on Diophantus. They look alien, like the hands of a stranger. These hands have measured the heavens, designed astrolabes, and transcribed the thoughts of giants. Now they tremble. You move not toward a hiding place, but toward the shelf holding the only surviving commentaries on the conics of Apollonius. You roll the scrolls tightly, your movements precise and mechanical, a lifetime of discipline fighting the chaos that is about to consume you. If you can save one, just one. The air grows thick, heavy with the smell of sweat and burning pitch from the torches they carry. Muffled shouts echo in the halls of the Serapeum, the sounds of destruction drawing nearer. The shattering of pottery, the tearing of papyrus, the triumphant, feral cries of men who believe they are cleansing the world. Each sound is a page being ripped from history. Each shout is a theorem being erased. Your back is to the door. You face your life's work. The lamplight throws long, dancing shadows that turn familiar astrolabes into skeletal birds of prey. In the polished bronze of a planar sphere, you see your own reflection, a woman cornered by the future, a future that has no room for your questions. The heavy cedar door to your study splinters. You do not turn. You know what a splintering door means. It is a conclusion, an answer to a question you had not yet fully formed. The sound is followed by the groan of ancient wood surrendering, and then a heavy final thud as the door is thrown inward, crashing against a shelf of Athenian pottery. The vessels, painted with scenes of gods and heroes debating in the agora, shatter. Their ceramic shards skitter across the mosaic floor like panicked insects. The air changes instantly. The scent of papyrus and cedar is overwhelmed by the human smell of stale sweat, damp wool, and the metallic tang of rage. It is the odor of a sealed room opened after a plague. A man stands in the breach, his silhouette a jagged tear in the light of the corridor's torches. He is large, but not a soldier. His strength is in his thick arms and the conviction that hardens his face. In his hand he holds not a sword, but a roofer's hammer, its clawed end darkened with something you refuse to identify. You remain facing your work, the scrolls of Apollonius held tight against your chest. You can feel the pattern of the floor tiles through the thin leather of your sandals, a complex tessellation of repeating hexagons, a perfect, logical form. You fix your mind on it, a world that can be measured, a world that makes sense. More figures push in behind the first, a tide of rough-spun tunics and grimacing faces. They stop, a few paces inside the room, their momentum broken by the sheer alien nature of the space. They were promised a witch's den, a place of bubbling cauldrons and demonic sigils. They find a room lined with the quiet thoughts of the dead. They see celestial spheres hanging like captive moons, brass protractors gleaming softly, and walls covered not in curses, but in geometric proofs drawn in charcoal. The silence of the room, a silence they have just violated, seems to push back against them. For a breath, their certainty wavers. Who is the monster here? You remember a student, years ago, a zealous young Christian named Hesychius, challenging you in an open lecture. He had stood,
his hands clenched, and asked how you could reconcile the perfect, unchanging heavens of Aristotle with the single miraculous act of his God. You had not dismissed him. You had drawn a diagram in the sand, showing him the mathematics of a parabola, the path of a thrown stone, demonstrating how a single formula could contain both predictable flight and a unique, unrepeatable arc. You had shown him that philosophy was not a set of answers, but a better way of asking questions. He had left the city not long after, rumored to have joined a desert monastery, to find a truth that did not require proofs. Was one of these men him? Had his questions soured into such simple, brutal answers? The man with the hammer takes a step forward, his boot crunching on the remains of a 200-year-old vase. His eyes, small and dark, finally fix on you. But it is the man who follows him that speaks. He is smaller, leaner, with the sharp, bird-like features of an ascetic. His name is Peter, a lector from the Caesareum, known for his talent for turning Cyril's sermons into street-level fury. "The sorceress," Peter hisses, the words slithering into the scholarly quiet. His gaze sweeps the room, not with confusion, but with the vindictive glee of a prophecy fulfilled. He doesn't see tools of science, he sees instruments of blasphemy. He points a trembling, accusatory finger not at you, but at the large, intricate armillary sphere in the center of the room. There, the pagan cage for trapping angels. She binds the servants of God to tell her the fortunes of men. The permission they needed, their wavering doubt ignites into righteous vandalism. The man with the hammer swings it not at you, but at the delicate brass rings of the sphere. The sound is a dull, sickening clang, a beautiful idea being beaten into scrap. Another man rips a celestial map from the wall, the constellations of the northern sky tearing across the body of Andromeda. They are not just destroying objects, they are attacking the very notion of an ordered, understandable cosmos. They are killing the stars. Each crash, each tear is a physical blow. You feel it in your teeth, a vibration of a world coming undone. They overturn a table and a dozen meticulously crafted glass lenses for studying the path of light roll across the floor and are crushed underfoot. The sound is of ice cracking. They are blind, and they are making the world blind with them.
You watch the destruction of your life, the murder of your thoughts, and the cold, dense star of fear in your chest does not change. It is beyond that now. This is the gravity of the inevitable. Through it all, you have not made a sound. Your stillness is an accusation. Your silence a fortress they cannot breach with hammers or shouts. Finally, Peter turns his burning eyes to you. He sees the scrolls you are clutching, a mother protecting her child. He takes a step closer, then another. The mob behind him stills, watching. The air is thick with the dust of shattered plaster and incinerated knowledge. He is close enough now that you can smell the sour wine on his breath. He does not reach for you. He reaches for the scrolls. "The devil's words," he whispers, his voice raw. "Give them to the fire." His rough, calloused hand closes over yours, his fingers pressing into the fragile papyrus. The warmth of his skin is a profanity against the cool, dry scroll. For the first time,
You meet his gaze. You see no hatred there. You see something far worse. You see the terrifying, empty peace of a man who has stopped thinking completely. And in that moment, you know this is not the end of an argument. It is the end of the argument itself. Your fingers tighten on the work of Apollonius, on the elegant, unyielding truths of the ellipse and the hyperbola. You will not let go. Your refusal is a silent, unshakable thing, a theorem proven. Your fingers, which know the precise pressure needed to write on fragile papyrus without tearing it, now become clamps of bone and sinew. The scrolls are an extension of your mind, and you will not allow a single thought to be ripped away. The papyrus crackles between your grip and his, a sound like autumn leaves being crushed under a heavy boot. Peter's eyes narrow. The empty piece shatters, and beneath it is something brittle and hot. He expected a scream, a plea, a woman's terror. He did not expect this granite stillness. He did not expect to be met. His failure to instantly overpower you is a public one. The grunts and crashes of the mob behind him die down, their attention drawn to the silent war being waged over a cylinder of paper. They see a man of God, their leader, locked in a struggle with a woman half his size, and for a moment, the narrative flickers. Is she a witch casting a spell of paralysis? Or is he simply a man struggling with a woman? He solves his dilemma with a brute's logic. He jerks his hand back, not to release you, but to pull you off balance, using your grip on the scrolls to drag you forward. You stumble, the perfect tessellation of the floor tiles rising up to meet you. The scrolls of Apollonius spill from your grasp, unfurling across the mosaic floor in a pale, helpless wave. The elegant, spiraling curves of conic sections are laid bare at the feet of men who see only squiggles of demonic ink. This is what they needed, your fall, the breaking of your posture. You are no longer the untouchable philosopher on her dais, but a woman on her knees. The spell is broken. The man with the roofer's hammer, the one who first breached the door, steps forward. He sees the unfurled scroll, its complex diagrams an open mockery of his simple world. With a guttural roar, he brings the flat of his hammer down on the papyrus, not just striking it, but grinding it into the stone floor, smearing the ink, pulping the fibers, erasing 1,000 years of thought with one motion. You do not cry out. The sound is trapped behind your teeth. A hand, not Peter's, grabs a fistful of your hair, yanking your head back. Your view of the world snaps upward, past the jeering faces, to the ceiling of your study, painted with the constellations of the zodiac as seen from Alexandria on the day of your birth, a private map of your place in the cosmos. Your father had commissioned it for you. You see Sagittarius, your sign, the archer aiming his arrow at the heart of a scorpion, an eternal conflict drawn in gold leaf and lapis lazuli. Then the world is sideways. They are dragging you. The smooth, cool stone of your home becomes an abrasive enemy, scraping at your skin through the thin fabric of your stola. The scent of papyrus and cedar is gone, replaced by the smell of the mob itself, unwashed bodies, nervous sweat, the breath of men drunk on something stronger than wine. Rough hands are on you, tearing at your clothes, their touch not methodical, but frantic, like dogs tearing at a carcass. Each hand is an anonymous violation.
Your mind, a vessel trained for clarity in the face of chaos, tries to anchor itself. It latches onto details, the chip in a marble column you've passed 1,000 times, the way the torchlight makes the shadows of your captors leap and dance like monstrous puppets on the walls, the rhythmic, dragging sound of your own body being pulled across the floor. You try to count the footfalls, to find a pattern in the chaos, but there is no pattern. There is only the roaring tide of them, pulling you out of your world and into theirs. You are dragged through the ruin of your life, past shelves of overturned scrolls, their wooden tags clattering like broken teeth, past the shattered remains of the armillary sphere, its brass rings bent into silent screams, past a puddle of dark liquid spreading from a broken amphora, its surface reflecting the torchlight like a pool of black blood. This is the new geometry. The logic of the broken line, the shattered circle, as they pull you through the splintered doorway of your study and into the public corridor of the Serapeum, you catch a final glimpse of the room. It looks small now, violated, like a tomb broken open, and on the floor, amidst the debris, lies one of your instruments, a simple bronze dioptra, a tool for measuring angles. It lies intact, gleaming in the flickering light, a single perfect straight line in a world that has gone madly, violently crooked. They pull you toward the great stairs, your body bumping down each marble step with a series of dull, jarring impacts. The roaring is an ocean now. You are beneath the waves, and the pressure is immense. You hear Peter's voice, not a hiss anymore, but a triumphant shout, proclaiming your capture to those still ransacking the lower levels. His words are lost in the greater noise, but the tone is clear. It is the sound of victory. You are no longer Hypatia, the philosopher, the mathematician, the head of the Platonist school. You are a symbol. You are the witch. You are everything they fear about the world they are trying to claw into existence. You are a question that they can only answer with violence. They drag you out of the cool darkness of the library and into the blinding, brutal light of the Alexandrian sun.